Shri Advaita Gadadha Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25. We are on text 17. Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Prakrite Param Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir Animanam Akhanditam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. At that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental to material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, although very minute in size. So Lord Kapila is beginning to speak to Devahuti. We read from the purport: in the state of pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one can see himself as a minute particle, non-different from the Supreme Lord. This is our true position. We are the soul and we are non-different from the Supreme Lord. Now, where we get confused is we start thinking we are the Supreme Lord because we are part and parcel of Him. We are same in quality as Him. We are the soul. We are the always self-effulgent. We are very self-effulgent, right? But the point to understand is that we are a part of God. We are not the complete whole. God is the complete whole. The Supreme Lord is the complete whole. Yes, we are the soul. We are self-effulgent. We are transcendental, but we are part and non-different from the Supreme Lord. In the state of pure consciousness, we can understand we are non-different from the Supreme Lord. What does that mean? Anyone?
We are equal to Him in the quality, but not in the quantity. We are just very minute in the quantity, but we are equal to Him in the quality. We also have, as a soul, we have the Sachitananda. We are also Sachitananda, but the quantity is not equal to God. That is very, very, very minute. And He is
Yeah, that's
complete.
right. That's right. Thank you. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the jiva or the individual soul is eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Just as the sun's rays are minute particles of the brilliant constitution of the sun, so a living entity is a minute particle of the Supreme Spirit. The individual soul and the Supreme Lord are not separated as in material differentiation. The individual soul is a particle from the very beginning. One should not think that because the individual soul is a particle, it is fragmented from the whole spirit. Mayavad philosophy enunciates that the whole spirit exists, but a part of it, which is called the jiva, is entrapped by illusion. This philosophy, however, is unacceptable because spirit cannot be divided like a fragment of matter. That part, the jiva, is eternally a part. As long as the Supreme Spirit exists, his part and parcel also exists. As long as the sun exists, the molecules of the sun rays also exist. So it's not that the whole spirit exists, but a part of it, which is called the jiva, is entrapped by illusion. Yeah, so as we just said, we are part and parcel. We are same in quality, but not in quantity. So if we compare the size, the Supreme Lord is the sun, and then we are the minute particles in the sunshine. Minute particles in the sunshine, and we are eternal. It's not that we existed at one point of time. No, eternal. So the jiva particle is estimated in the Vedic literature to be 1/10,000, the size of the upper portion of a hair. So now the size of the soul, the Vedas tell us what is the size of the soul. 1/10,000, the tip of the hair. 1/10,000. If we take the hair, tip of the hair, divided it by 10,000, that is the size of the soul. It is therefore infinitesimal. The Supreme Spirit is infinite, but the living entity or the individual soul is infinitesimal, although it is not different in quality from the Supreme Spirit. Two words in this verse are to be particularly noted. One is nirantaram, which means non-different or of the same quality. The individual soul is also expressed here as animanam. Animanam means infinitesimal. The Supreme Spirit is all-pervading, but the very small spirit is the individual soul. So we can also we can try to analyze this position, this thing also. The Supreme Lord, he's omnipresent, right? He's all-pervading, he's everywhere. He says, I'm the light of the sun and the moon. I'm the taste in water. I'm the fragrance of the earth. I'm the sound in ether. He says that that's his impersonal feature. But we, the individual soul, we are just right now inside our body. We are not anywhere else, right? So it doesn't mean that once we come out of the body, we are going to become all-pervading, that we will become everywhere. No, we will continue to remain as we are. A spirit soul, of course, without the body. Then we have a spiritual form, not a material form. So if we try to analyze it, can analyze it with intelligence like this. Akhanditam means not exactly fragmented, but constitutionally always infinitesimal. No one can separate the molecular parts of the sunshine from the sun. But at the same time, the molecular part of the sunshine is not as expansive as the sun itself. So if there is a sun, there is going to be sunshine. There is no meaning to the sun if there is no sunshine. They are part and parcel. Sunshine is a part and parcel of the sun. But the heat and light in a molecule of sunshine is very different than the full sun. Similarly, the living entity by its constitutional position is qualitatively the same as the Supreme Spirit, but he is infinitesimal. So we are also souls. We are also souls, but we are parts of the Supreme Soul, but not fragmented. It's not that the Supreme Spirit is there and then we are cut out from him. No, we eternally exist. Like the sun is there and the sunshine is there. They are tiny molecules of the sunshine. Jnana Vairagya Yuktena Bhakti Yuktena Chatmana Paripashyati Udashinam Prakritim Cha Hatau Jasam. In that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. As the contamination of the germs of a particular disease can influence a weaker person, similarly, the influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on the weaker or conditioned soul, but not on the liberated soul. So it depends on the immunity. We get sick. But so similarly, the liberated soul, his immunity is very high against the material nature, so it doesn't get influenced. Self-realization is the position of the liberated state. One understands his constitutional position by knowledge and vairagya, renunciation. Without knowledge, one cannot have realization. The realization that one is the infinitesimal part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit makes him unattached to material conditional life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, one cannot engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. So this is the point that pure devotional service begins from the platform of liberation. Brahmabhuta platform. When one understands, Aham Brahmasmi. When one understands, then one also understands, there is a Supreme Lord, and one engages in devotional service. So at that point, one is engaging in pure devotional service. In this verse, it is therefore stated, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. When one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position and is in the renounced order of life, detached from material attraction. Then, by pure devotional service, bhakti yuktena, he can engage himself as a loving servant of the Lord. Paripashyati means that he can see everything in its right perspective. Then the influence of material nature becomes almost nil. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. When one is self-realized, he becomes happy and free from the influence of material nature. And at that time, he is freed from lamentation and hankering. So on the Brahma Bhuta platform, when one understands, oh yes, I'm the soul, I'm not this body, totally he can totally understand, I'm not this body. Then what happens? He's happy because the soul is always Satchid Ananda. And then the modes cannot capture him, no more under the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And then because of that, because he has no attachment to the material body, he has no lamentation and no hankering. So it's complete peace, peace and happy. The Lord states that position as Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param, the real state of beginning devotional service. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Narada Pancharatra that when the senses are purified, they can then be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. One who is attached to material contamination cannot be a devotee. So a devotee means he is already liberated. He's on the platform of liberation. And he's understood himself. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. He's realized his position and he's engaging in devotional service. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So that's why it's said that pure devotional service begins from the platform of liberation. Begins from the platform of liberation. So what are we doing then? We are surely not liberated. We are in the process. Bhakti is a process and it's the end. It's the process and the goal. There no other is like that. Gyan is only the process, but not the goal, right? But in bhakti, it's a process. We are hearing and chanting, hearing and chanting. And once when we get self-realized, we continue to hear and chant. Then we continue to hear and chant on the pure platform. So only bhakti is like that. It's the process and it's the goal. And this is true liberation. Why? Because then the soul has already understood his true position. He's realized why does he exist, who he truly is. Is that okay?
Yes, this part is very, very important. Huh? What it says, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena, when one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position, then he is detached from material attraction. Right?
Yes. Full knowledge of one's constitutional position. Yeah. So how do we reach there then?
Hearing and chanting.
What shall we do?
Hearing and chanting.
Doing devotion, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Engage in devotion service. But still, I don't know, like for us, for me at least, I still feel that no, I still get attracted with material, right?
Oh yeah, because we are not on the liberated platform. We are not liberated. We are not yet realized I'm the soul. We are understanding it in theory, right? But what happens? Because bhakti is like that. We continue hearing and chanting. And by doing bhakti, we will get full knowledge and detachment.
Gradually, right?
Gradually. It's a gradual process, but it is sure shot. It will happen. You know, we will. Why will Krishna not bring us back? Why will Krishna want to keep us here in the material world? When we are showing him that we are having a desire to come back to him. Like Bhagavatam says, By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So how can we come to the point of full knowledge and detachment from the world? By worshipping Krishna, by engaging in devotional service, which begins by hearing and chanting.
Mhm.
So just continue to hear and chant. Of course, we don't feel detached. Of course, we are very attached. Why? Because we are conditioned. We are not on the liberated platform. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah. So that means this refers mostly to like sadhus, to saints who are detached, fully detached.
It refers to the pure devotee.
Pure devotee.
Yeah, pure devotee. Because one may be a sadhu, but he may not be a pure devotee.
Mm.
One may be detached, but he may not be a pure devotee. So this specifically, this verse is
Right. Pure devotees.
pointing out to pure devotee that what happens when one gets liberated, when one is self-realized. What does the pure devotee do? He engages in devotional service in full knowledge of his own position. Why do I exist? He's gotten that full knowledge. Why do I exist and what I have to do? Who am I? Who am I? Because right now we are thinking we are the body, but that's not who we truly are. So we say, okay, yes, I'm the soul, but each soul is an individual. We each have an identity. So it refers to the pure devotee. Mad bhaktim labate para. So 19. Na yujyamanaya bhaktya bhagavati akilatmani sadarsho asti shiva pantha yoginam brahma siddhaye. Perfection in self-realization. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the only auspicious path. That knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless joined by devotional service is explicitly explained here. So we may be on the path of Gyan or we may be on the path of Vairagya, but to really get the perfection of our path, to really get our goal, we need to have done some bhakti. Then only we will get, like for example, for Gyan, the end is liberation, right? So how to be really situated in that position by the Gyan Marg is have to have some element of bhakti in it, or for yoga to understand the Paramatma, to really be able to understand the Paramatma, some bhakti has to be there. So because bhakti is the only auspicious path. So na yujyamanya means without being dovetailed. When there is devotional service, then the question is where to offer that service. Devotional service is to be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul of everything. For that is the only reliable path of self-realization or Brahman realization. So we souls, some souls are searching for perfection. Perfection means liberation, to understand that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. But the only reliable path, or the only, what is that? Oh yeah, the reliable path is through devotional service. The word Brahma Siddhaya means to understand oneself to be different from matter, to understand oneself to be Brahman. So Brahma Siddhaya, to understand I am not this body, I am not matter, I don't exist just because I am in the body. I exist because of who I am. That's the point we have to understand, that I'm not existing right now just because I'm in the body. That if we think that, then we are thinking we are the body, that we are thinking we are a product of matter. But we have to understand, I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. I have nothing to do with matter. The Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Siddhi means that one should know that he is not matter, he is pure soul. There are different kinds of yogis, but every yogi is supposed to engage in self-realization or Brahman realization. It is clearly stated here that unless one is fully engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot have easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhi. So any yogi, a Gyan yogi or a Dhyan yogi, the goal is to understand Brahman, to understand self-realization. But here Lord Kapila is saying that unless you do bhakti, then the path, the process of self-realization becomes very difficult. Cannot easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhi. But one who's engaging in devotional service can very easy approach this self-realization, liberation. In the beginning of the second chapter.
I would say that with devotional service, then the Gyan and renunciation comes. Correct?
Yes, 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 yes. As we just read in Bhagavatam, that by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. By doing bhakti, automatically you get Gyan and Vairagya. Automatically. That's why in the yoga ladder in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is explaining Gyan Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, then he is pointing that Bhakti Yoga is the highest. It includes everything. Thank you. Yes.
So Gyan and Vairagya goes hand in hand, right? It will come hand in hand, right? With devotional service.
Yes, it will come. It will come. And if you want to know the verse, it is in Bhagavatam 1, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Jnanati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. It will come. By doing devotional service, we will get Gyan and we will get Vairagya. So we just have to have faith in the words of Krishna and his devotees. In the beginning of the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that one engages himself in devotional service of Vasudeva, spiritual knowledge and renunciation of the material world automatically become manifest. This is the verse that we just read. This is what Prabhupada is saying, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 7. Just engage in bhakti. Automatically we will get Jnana and Vairagya. Thus a devotee does not have to try separately for renunciation or knowledge. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one's service attitude, everything is revealed. Everything is revealed. Krishna says, as you surrender to me, I reveal myself to you. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's all our relationship with Krishna. That is what bhakti is. Devotional service is so powerful that by one's service attitude, everything is revealed. It is stated here, Shiva Pantaha. This is the only auspicious path of self-realization. Shiva Pantaha, auspicious path. Pantaha, path, Shiva, auspicious. The path of devotional service is the most confidential means for attaining Brahman realization. It is confidential, most confidential. That perfection in Brahman realization is attained through the auspicious path of devotional service indicates that the so-called Brahman realization or realization of the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is not Brahma Siddhi. Beyond the Brahma Jyoti, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So by devotional service, we can get the perfection of Brahman realization. We can understand, because people say, okay, God is light, but where is this light coming from? So understanding God is light is very preliminary. It's not a complete understanding. It's not complete self-realization. But understanding that, oh, behind the light is the Supreme Lord is there. That is the complete knowledge. And that can be attained only through devotional service, not otherwise. In the Upanishads, a devotee prays to the Lord to kindly put aside the effulgence, Brahmajyoti, so that the devotee may see within the Brahmajyoti the actual eternal form of the Lord. So this is the Sri Isopanisad, the 15th mantra, where the devotee is praying, my dear Lord, the light which is coming from you is so blinding. It's so blinding that I cannot see your beautiful face. Kindly remove this light so I can see you. That within this light, I can see you. Unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. Bhakti necessitates the existence of the recipient of devotional service and the devotee who renders devotional service. So when we are saying bhakti, then there is a bhakta. There's a bhakta and there is bhakti. And who is the bhakta doing the bhakti to? To the Supreme Lord. So these three are there. You know, when we are saying devotional service, so there is a devotee and devotional service, he's doing devotional service. Who is he engaging in devotional service to? That is the Supreme Lord. Brahma Siddhi through devotional service is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The understanding of the effulgent rays of the body of the Supreme Godhead is not the perfect stage of Brahma Siddhi or Brahman realization, nor is the realization of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Person perfect. For Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Akhilatma. He is the Super Soul. One who realizes the Supreme Personality realizes the other features, namely the Paramatma feature and the Brahman feature, and that total realization is Brahma Siddhi. So we can see that because by Gyan, we can only understand the Brahman platform. By Dhyan, we can only understand the Paramatma feature. But by Bhakti, we can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that the Brahman and Paramatma are only his features. And that is a complete realization of the absolute truth. So when somebody say God is light, their understanding is very, very limited. It's not the complete understanding of the Supreme Lord. If someone is saying God is Paramatma, then the understanding is partial. As light is partial, as Paramatma is partial, but as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the understanding is complete.
So Paramatma is what? Akhilatma.
The goddess Akhilatma, the super soul.
That's super soul, right?
Paramatma, yeah. Paramatma. And so engage in bhakti. Have that confidence that you're on the right path. By engaging in bhakti, you will get liberated. We will get liberated. We will go back home, back to Godhead. And we will be situated in our true position, in our original position. Anyone wanted to add anything? No, then we'll. Sneha, you wanted to add anything?
No, it's clear, like clearly explained, no?
Clear, yeah?
Yeah.
So what will you tell to someone who says God is light?
That's the preliminary realization, right?
Preliminary
It's a start.
realization.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And if they are willing to hear more, you can ask them, hey, where do you think the light is coming from, you know? if they're willing to hear, to make them think, because some of us don't think. And when we tell them that, then they start thinking, oh yeah, that's true, Where is it coming from?
Like they say, God is energy. So where is it coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes. Thank you. So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.